Hey guys, John here. So today is the day we are at Yotamafia. Ryan, the master technician, is taking care of the 4Runner. So if you guys missed the previous video, we got a couple things going down on the 4Runner. So we already have the wheels and tires off because we're going to be putting the Westcott kit onto it, putting a new front bumper onto it as well, and some bigger tires. So we already took some parts out of the Westcott kit, but we have the items right here for the front suspension, and then the rear suspension we are going to be putting on these spacers for the rear. And then there is also a bump stop extension. Where's that at? I already have both out. So there's already a bump stop extension that we do too for the front. So you guys can see the bump stop right there, and a extra little spacer. And we're gonna go ahead and take out the suspension up front, take the coils off, put these spacers on, and throw it back in. So cleaning it up right now from all the dust from the malls, and we'll put the preload collar on, and then the other collar goes right up top to space it. And now we're fully on and ready to put it back up into the 4Runner. So what I like about their kit is you can hardly tell that anything's there. So you have the spacer right here, and then the preload collar down here on the bottom. These ones being nice and anodized. It's just black, kind of flows with it. Can barely tell up here. And then down here, this is just a little bit thicker than what the OEM one was. And then for the back, Ryan has taken apart the rear sway bar, just loosened it up a little bit, because for the rear, you basically only have to do a spacer that's gonna go on top of the spring. So it's a little bit different than the Tundra, because for the Tundra, the suspension here was limiting it. So for the Tundra, our strut could only go down so far, so there was a spacer right here for the Tundra. But for this 4Runner, since there's more travel in this rear suspension, we're just gonna put the spacer puck on the spring itself, and then there's a little isolator bolt that goes down into it to make sure that it's all together, just in the off chance that this thing was to flex too much and the spring was to come out, everything comes out together instead of two parts coming out. So everything will be one together with the spring, and then the suspension, we're basically just leaving the suspension in the rear. All right, so Ryan just put the anti-seize on, and then we got the bolt that's provided with the kit. Gonna go through it. Then we are going to tighten it down. So like I mentioned earlier, this all stays together with it. So God forbid anything happens, too much extension or whatever, spring comes out, this all stays with it. So this is inside the spring, the isolator, this is all together with it. That way you don't have any shimmying going on at all with the back of the 4Runner. A little bit of Loctite too. Professionals over here.
Almost. There you go. There you go. Okay. Thanks, sir. Appreciate it.
All right, so now it's time to put the tires on, guys. And with these Recon Grapplers, we got two sides to them. So we got two sidewalls. You guys on Instagram said with overwhelmingly in the polls that this is the side that we're gonna put on. So a little bit more aggressive of a sidewall here. It goes down a little bit more than this left side. And even these aren't as aggressive. So Ryan here at Yotamafia is gonna go ahead and put them on, get them all nice and balanced for us. And then the lift kit is all done on the 4Runner, and then we'll put it on, lower it down, and then bumpers next. So the Westcott kit is on now, and we also have the tires mounted and balanced. We just took the front bumper off of the 4Runner, and gosh, probably millionth time I've taken this bumper off. So we are going to take off the crash bar here to put the new CaliRaised front bumper on. Also, we're gonna lose the Ragu hidden light bars. So we're gonna take this off, and since I have a light bar right here, just gonna retain this harness because we're putting a light bar onto the CaliRaised front bumper. So we're gonna take this off, and while Ryan's doing that, over here I have the front bumper, so taking the black valence off right now of the front, and then swap over these fogs that I have for the new Morimoto 4-banger pods. So since I have the bumper off, it's just a lot easier to do that while Ryan's taking off that stuff up front. So now we have the front crash bar off, cleaned up this area right here. This area was all dirty and stuff. Cleaned up both sides. Here's an awesome tip by Ryan, the master technician. Run a bolt the opposite way, so when you set the bumper on it, you have something to hold on to, and then once it's there, feed your other ones through to tighten it up. So this one is, obviously we would take it back out afterwards, flip it around, put it the right way, but it's to hold your bumper in place, especially if you're doing it by yourself. So here's the bumper, guys. I'll show you it again. I showed it in a previous video, but you got a spot right here to mount a winch. Pretty nice. You have all the holes that you would need for a winch, then the winch in the front, and we are going to mount the bar up top. So if you opt to get it from CaliRaised, they do have the logo here. On their site, it shows this as just a line through, but when you get the production one, it does have their logo. But you have spots right here to mount a light bar. So with CaliRaised kit, with their light bar, it's gonna come with one of these. These are not the ones that you use. As we found out, there's other light bar brackets in the kit that they've made especially for their light bar to fit in the bumper, because when we thought that you would have to use the longer ones until we found the other ones in the box, it would sit up way too high. So definitely make sure that you install the right brackets on the side of the light bar so it sits flush with the front of the bumper. And this is what the light bar will look like. So you got CaliRaised's logo right there, and then their light bar, you have the writing on the sides, on each side, CaliRaised LED right there. And then if you are running a winch, you can put your shackle right up here on the front and everything for your winch too. All right guys, the time has come. Ryan is getting his gloves on. He has his safety glasses on. We're about to cut the 4Runner. Too late now, no going back. We took it off. So now Ryan is filing everything down, getting all the frays off. We're gonna put some weather stripping on it. Then are we gonna set this on first, or you think bumper first and you and I will go over it?
First.
Okay.
Yeah, probably.
And so again, not running a winch, this is what it's gonna look like up front. It'd be cool if eventually there's like some cover plate right here for those that aren't gonna run a winch. I think that would be cool. And then we got the harness right here for the light bar. Ryan got it all zip tied up, and then we're gonna run it up underneath the power steering right here, behind that harness, and then on up, and then probably zip tie it right there. And the last and final step is these brackets that it comes with. So they're just gonna go ahead and go into the side. We use some different hardware because it didn't seem long enough. And then that will basically go in right here for your fender because you've cut off the front of the bumper. So we'll just go ahead and put that in. That way this is supported on the front bumper itself, and it's supporting this little portion of plastic. And here it is, guys, the 4Runner's new look. Could not be happier. Now I will admit, this is a little bit later, so I've been driving the 4Runner around for a couple days, feeling it out, seeing how everything is. I haven't done a proper alignment yet, so I haven't put a bunch of miles on it, but as it rides out of the box from Westcott Designs with these new wheels on it, prior to being aligned, it still rides like factory. So I am getting a little bit of rubbing, just because I know that you guys will ask that, but a little bit of rubbing right up on the inside at full lock on reverse. Again, I have not aligned it yet, so aligning the 4Runner may help it out. But let's take a look at the side profile. So this is just for the Westcott kit. Very level, loving the new stance of it. Again, we went with 285 70 17s for the Nitto Recon Grapplers, and I just put it on the stock wheel. I love the stock wheel, the 4Runner, the TRD Pros, they look really good. There was a hype craze for these a while ago, so I almost took the stock wheels off of my 4Runner just because everyone was trying to be like a TRD Pro, but now I feel like people are just putting SCS wheels on, RRWs, methods, you know. I think people are starting to take these off of their 4Runners now, so I wanted to leave it on because I like that classic look. Looking at poke, we don't have a whole lot. If we go down the side of the vehicle, we're pretty even. But if you're looking at the top of the fender though, it's not really even to where I would like it to be. But I wasn't gonna run the spacers again on the 4Runner just because I didn't want to run them and potentially rub even more than I knew that we were gonna do. But let's come to the goodies up front with this CaliRaised Stealth front bumper. Super simple install, guys, as you saw in the video, but you do have to cut your 4Runner. So cut up the 4Runner, but I couldn't be happier because it contours to the front of the vehicle really well. Ryan did a great job cutting in. I feel like this one kind of sits closer than a lot of other ones that I saw. So Ryan cut pretty well right here, but this thing flows with the bumper of the 4Runner good. It just carries all the lines, especially up here in the top grille. I mean, just look at that. So the CaliRaised Stealth front bumper up here contours everything really well. Even this front little mesh, right? Like you can barely tell the difference that it's there. It's black, it looks OEM. This is the look that I was going for, an OEM plus look. So I didn't put a winch up front, nor will I. I don't intend to, so Hopefully there is like a cover plate maybe in the future from CaliRaised for that, but as of right now, I am super pumped with it. And even looking under it too, it gives you a decent amount of a skid plate. So it did not work with the car trim home skid plate that I had. They said that they did testing for a TRD skid plate, and they said that it worked, but they're just gonna go ahead and send out a skid plate for me. So if you guys are in the market for their bumper, I will also be testing out their front skid plate. So we got that coming, but we have the light bar in this as well. So let's go ahead and see how that performs at night. See if it's worth it for you guys to include the light bar in your purchase when you're getting the front bumper. All right, so I have just the low beams on right now. I'm gonna turn on this light bar. That is really bright. So going around some turns real quick, you could tell though it's pretty focused in the middle. We'll go ahead and just shut my lights off. So lights are completely off, and this is just the light bar now. Beams down the road, pretty good. You have a decent amount to the left, decent amount to the right. We'll go ahead and just turn the lights back on. You can barely tell that I'm turning on lights, and then we'll turn on the Morimoto fogs that I installed too. Those fogs are so bright, but with just the light bar on, it lights it up really, really well. So just light bar on, I would say that's close to 100, 200 feet down the road. I may be off. And then what a difference too when I just turn off the light bar. All right, so here the light bar's off. Go ahead and turn it on again. And we'll really be able to tell when we come into this field over here how much we can actually see. So they're grading like for some houses or something right here. You could see the fence. That fence is easily probably a football field away or so. So maybe 300 feet or so, so 100 yards. Turn the light bar off. See all the trees back behind it. Now we step out. That is freaking bright. Oh yeah. So guys, the brightness is really good in this. If you're gonna want to include the light bar, I would recommend it. The brightness was pretty good. Loving the new look of the 4Runner. More things coming. There is a rooftop tent now in my garage, so we're gonna be figuring that out on how to put this up. But I hope you guys enjoyed the installation of both the Westcott kit, the new front bumper from CaliRaised. Links to everything down in the description, along with some discount codes too. I will catch you guys in the next video. All right, see you later.